which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor Calvadas?
Here.
Mr. Capados?
Here.
Mrs. Passio? Here. Mr. Kizaluz? Mr. White?
Here.
Mr. Williams? Mr. Beatrice?
Here.
Mr. Kennedy?
Here.
And Mr. Bishop?
Here.
Public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meeting Act has been given by the clerk in the following manner. One, posted on the bulletin board in the Borough Clerk's office on January 4th, 2012. Emailed to the retrospect and the Courier Post on January 4th, 2012. Approval minute and
I move for the approval of minutes of September 4, 2012, submitted by the clerk.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
With the report of the construction official for the month of September, a total of $9,276 was collected for various permits, and including COs. All monies were turned over to the treasurer. We have the treasurer's report for the period ending September 30th, 2012. Total in all accounts, $5,082,840.19. We have the borough clerk's report for the month of September. A total of $774 was collected for various permits and licensing, including pet licensing. All monies were turned over to the treasurer. We have the report of the police department for the month of September. A total of $67 was collected for various accident discovery, solicitor reports, and other requests, and firearm permits. All monies were turned over to the treasurer. We have the report of the municipal court for the month of July. A total of $10,168.08 was collected, and for the month of August, $9,849.55, and all monies were turned over to the treasurer. We have the report of the registrar for the month of September. A total of $2,838 was collected for various death copies, marriage copies, and a marriage license. All monies were turned over to the treasurer. We have the report of the the fire marshal for the month of September. There was a total of $9,415.40 collected in fees. There were 71 inspections completed, 136 total incidents, 3 special use type 1 permits issued, and $13,906.40 in EMS billings. And all monies were turned over to the treasurer. We have the report of the tax collector for the month of September. A total of $2,518,572.61 was collected in taxes, and $67,143.92 in sewer fees were collected. And all monies were turned over to the treasurer. And real quick, since I know everybody's in a hurry, I went to the municipal managers meeting in September. Several issues were discussed real quick. The certification for sustainability, our green team, the county has hired a new person. Gave the name to Kathy. She is using that and will be attending their meeting. The county police was discussed. The 2 meetings are scheduled. One was this morning. Nick, I think you attended. I don't know if anybody else. They really gave no notice at all. There's another meeting on October the 10th at 7 p.m. at night. And I know some of you have planning board. That was just a last minute invitation that we received. The fire group that you're involved in, Rich, they talked about the feedback and the medical exams that we're trying to have paid for by your own health insurance. It would be a very limited amount that would have to come out of, I guess, whoever is going to pick up the slack. But we're trying to do that for new hirees to the fire departments. And as far as animals go, they talked about there's an animal ordinance coming out that they're working on. They're still doing redrafts of it. This is the Mayor's Association, I believe, is working on that. There's a can drive going on, and Mrs. Passio can talk about that. And there's also a mega adoption pet event coming up that the county is sponsoring. By PetSmart is involved in that. They're coming up with a new website, Ask Gov First. It's going to enable clerks and collectors and everyone to go to a central spot to get information. The sand and salt agreement is on for approval tonight. There is also a resolution on for the county bid that went out for disposal fees. Up until December, it'll be $59 a ton, and then it goes up incrementally, which I believe is very good. John was very happy with that. So there are all the things were discussed at our last county meeting.
I'd like to make a motion if we
No, that's where I got
receive and
the
file the report
disposal
submitted
trash.
by the clerk.
Have a second.
Second.
Communications, Joyce.
First is a letter from Governor Christie regarding the new contracts awarded by the state. And you want to read them all together?
Yeah.
All the letters? And the next is a letter from the mayor of Barrington asking to use the bus for the Harvest Festival. And the next is a letter from, I just got this today, Daniel Mitten. Charlie Ramon brought it in. He's the OEM coordinator. He received approval of his emergency operations plan for Runnemede through 9/16/16.
Receive and file communications.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We have a public hearing for ordinance 1209, is a bond ordinance authorizing the completion of various capital improvements for 3 Acres Park. It's for $150,000.
Motion to no motion on
Public hearing closed.
that. That's the hearing.
This portion of the meeting is open to the public. If anyone wishes to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come up to the microphone and state your name and address.
There seems no one wishing to speak. I make a motion to close the welfare for a public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. I'd like to make a motion to adopt on the second or final reading and advertise according to law.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Cavalli?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mrs. Pasio?
Yes.
And Mr. Beatrice?
Yes.
4 ayes. The next is ordinance 1210, it's a bond ordinance authorizing the acquisition of equipment for the sewer utility department, appropriating the sum of $75,000.
This portion is open to the public.
Anyone wishing to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only, you can come to the microphone, give your name and address.
Seeing no one,
Excuse me, Mayor, City, you know, wishing to speak. I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
roll call.
Motion.
Mr.
Wait, hold on. I make a motion to adopt on second final reading and advertise according to law.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Cavalli?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mrs. Pasio?
Yes.
And Mr. Beatrice?
Yes.
4 ayes. 4 ayes, 2 absent. Ordinance 1211 is an ordinance authorizing expenditures under 48-4-53 at all special emergency for preparation and execution of a property reassessment. This ordinance is open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only, you come up to the microphone and give your name and address.
Mayor, once again, seeing if no one wishing to speak, I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. point, I'd like to make a motion to adopt on second and final reading and advertise according to law.
Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Passione?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Hobbs?
Yes.
Mr. Beatrice?
Yes.
4 ayes. And 2 absent. The next is ordinance 12-12, is an ordinance regulating the salaries of the employees of the Borough of Runnemede. This is also a public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this ordinance, and this ordinance only, please come up to the microphone and state your name and address.
My name is Sean Lowick. I'm with CWA Local 1038. Is this ordinance referring to your non-unionized employees or the employees that CWA represents?
Non-union.
Non-union employees? Thank you.
If there's no one else wishing to speak, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Now I'd further make a motion to adopt on second and final reading and advertise according to law.
Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Passione?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Hobbs?
Yes.
And Mr. Beatrice?
Yes.
4 ayes, 2 absent. The next is ordinance 12-13. This is an ordinance establishing the position of part-time supervising EMC in the Borough of Runnemede. This is a public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only may step to the microphone and give the name and address.
Mayor, if there's no one wishing to speak, the motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion.
Yeah, I make a motion to adopt on second and final reading and advertise according to law.
Second.
All those in favor? Roll call.
Mrs. Passione?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Capadas?
Yes.
And Mr. Beatrice?
Yes.
4 ayes and 2 absent.
Committee reports. A report from Mike, who isn't here. I have a police report for the month of September. Motor vehicle summons for moving violations, there were 132. For parking violations, there were 19. For motor vehicle crashes, there were 22. There were 157 arrests. Year-to-date, arrests were 1,260 people. And hours of overtime for only 30 hours for the month. That's a police report. Also, I could report that the bingo license, the Knights of Columbus, the Holy Child Parish, November through April, all paperwork is in order.
I move for your approval.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Under personnel, I only received thank yous, choice rate stuff, but also I got one from woman. We had a line, a sign put up on Oakland Avenue, North Oakland Avenue, for her brother who's blind, and Dana Martino. So she sent us a thank you, thanked us for having the sign put up, because it does help with the traffic and all. So she thanked us for that. We also had a thank you that was sent to the Borough Hall, was needed, helped one of the residents who have his mortgage, he changed mortgage companies, and they took the taxes out of one and taxes out of the other, and the borough sent him back the money. He didn't have to pay the double taxes, and he was thrilled, and he called, and emailed everything, and they responded. So I think that was very nice. So that's good part personnel. That's all under personnel for me. Finances, Tony.
Yes, thank you very much, Mayor. Richard will go into detail with the finance committee reports. Also, we'll be looking for a couple of resolutions to clean up some situations with the engineering report. I'll let him know how the report process.
Roads and building, Frankie Williams, does anybody have anything to report? No. Nick?
Thank you. I just want to report on the recreation that the Harry Williams building is being managed now by our library staff. They're in charge of opening and closing the building, making sure the building is properly maintained, working with both the police department and the village department. Other than that, I'd like to report progress. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. White?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to report our road program for this year is going very well. Past month, we finished East 2nd, East 3rd, and West 3rd Avenue is complete. Reed Avenue, another story. We'll have that hopefully completed by tomorrow. And with the little extra money we had here and there, we finished some projects in town where there wasn't no curb and sidewalk, where the kids travel to go to school. Up here on 2nd Avenue, 2nd Clemens Bridge, we put that in. There's never sidewalk there. That was a nice project. Baseball field, wasn't curb and sidewalk in there. And our handicap ramp program is finished. We're just waiting for some line striping. And I'm sure everybody's aware of the new speed bumps on Hirsch Avenue. And they'll be straight by the end of the week. And I'd like to thank Mr. Officer Sam Polsky from the police department for the beautification committee this weekend. He gave us the kids doing probation hours or community service hours. And we did some work around the borough hall, cleaned up a few things. I'd like to thank them. Other than that, I'd like to report progress.
Thank you, Ed. Health, education, and welfare, Pat.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I became a guest along with some members of the Green Team and enjoyed a presentation by Waste Management at Marigold School, which was organized by the Green Team to educate each class on how to recycle organic, single stream, and trash. And it is also possible that Mr. Iannucci will have a field trip with students to the Waste Management plant to see firsthand its operation. Camden County Board of Freeholders will be giving out flu shots at the Harry Williams Community Center on November 5th from 2 to 4 p.m. The Green Team is having a fair. It's going to be their first annual fair on Friday, October 12th from 6:30 to 9:30 at the Harry Williams Building. Please come out and support the Green Team. Learn how to put solar panels on your house for free. We're going to have the Friends of the Runnemede Library for a reading of The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. We're going to help the children make truffle tree cupcakes, and we'll have TV back there to open up some savings accounts. There's also a contest going on at Marigold School with the 6th grade, and they're using recyclable materials to design a greenhouse. So come out and see their displays. And also for sale, there is a $75 CFC light bulb kit, and it's going to be for $20. So bring your $20. It's a Green Team fundraiser, and please all come out and support the Green Team. Also, the Runnemede Women's Club will be having the 14th annual basket auction on October 24th. Doors open at 6 p.m. Tickets are $7. The borough will be collecting canned pet food for cats and dogs to be given to 3 area shelters. We will have a collection box at the Borough Hall, and the drive will run from October 1st to October 31st. So please be generous and help the shelters feed these pets until they find their forever homes. Dr. Nancy Ward, Superintendent of Runnemede Schools, is taking a survey for consideration of school uniforms. So far, as of last week, it was 164 people have voted yes, and 115 have voted no. On Sunday, I walked at Great Adventure, along with 13,000 other people, for the Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure. And so did Rich. He ran, I walked. Every 3 minutes, a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer. This year, an estimated 1,900 men will be diagnosed with breast States. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so please get your mammograms, get medical attention if you discover a lump or any red inflamed areas on your breast. More than 2.5 million breast cancer survivors live in the United States today due to early detection and more treatment options. Camden County provides free mammograms for qualified uninsured women. You can call at 856-968-7315. Race Management is a huge sponsor for Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure, and they were kind enough to give me these ladies out there, and men also. So if you'd like to take one, I have them on the front chair there, out there. So I'm asking you to please wear pink, and let's help stamp out this horrible disease. This concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Trey?
For treasurer, I'll stand on the treasurer's report as read by the clerk. And since we're doing a consent agenda, I'll just quickly go over the items related to finance and administration. We had the bond ordinance for $150,000. That's to get us the completion of everything done at Green Acres Park. And while we don't expect it to go to the full 150, we would cancel the balance because it's just a spending appropriation. It's not actually bonded. So that takes care of that item. There's three housekeeping issues that were not on the original agenda that were basically walked on, and that's to insert grants. We have the Clean Communities grant, just to get it, we have a check, but we want to put it into the budget. That is $13,161. We have Body Armor Replacement Fund, $2,118.94, and we have the Alcohol Education and Rehabilitation Fund for $377.74. So they're all budget insertions. We have those resolutions. We have Resolution 12-122. That's a change order. That is for the finalization of the jail cell floors. That was mandated by both the JIF, they wrote us up because of the condition of the floors, and also the State Department of Corrections. That was a minor $900 change order just to finalize the project there. Resolution 12-123 was the municipal roof. We no longer have stain tiles up there. They did a good job. There was a minor change order that was related to the downspouts and coverage. So that takes care of that project. On the administration side, we have appointment resolution 12-119. We're appointing 2 Class 2 police officers, basically replacing gentlemen that have moved on, and we're appointing 2 crossing guards tonight. So that's the details behind that resolution. Something new that we're working on, we've talked in the past about work orders of our public works, and the quotes that we received to add this package to our finance system was around $10,000. And unfortunately, we don't have the volume of budget or issues to agree to pay that kind of money. I'm trying something new with my Outlook Task Manager, and we're going to upgrade Nick Ritz's cell phone. John's already does data and emails, so we're going to upgrade for, I think, $30 a month Nick's cell phone so that he can receive the emails when I send them out. We used it this week because we're kind of testing the concept. We had one person who's probably, with the new phone system, we're getting messages. We had one resident that was missed with regards to yard waste. I emailed that over to them, and they took care of that and reported back to me. And also, we had a resident complain that some juveniles did some things at one of our playgrounds that required us to sanitize the slides. And we also sent that work order over, and that was handled. So it seems to be, it's a way to track what's coming in and making sure that it's getting done. It's also going to be used for buildings and grounds issues, for maintenance. Basically, with the Public Works Department gets put on the spot sometimes when they're out doing their duties because people want other things done. So departments are going to be notified that they have to submit their request to me. I will reach out to John and Nick, and we'll schedule it when it can be done. And then the department and Public Works will have the work order to know, when it's going to be done, and they can report back when it's completed. So basically just keeping track a little better of what's going on and planning it better. And I think Public Works was very happy with that new process. With regards to the phone system, we're about 30 days in, give or take a few days. And we met with our vendor yesterday, going over our programming issues, tweaking it a little bit to make sure that we're getting it worked out. As with anything that's new, it's going to, you know, have a little bit of a learning curve, and some people that aren't 100% in favor of it. You know, there have been some complaints from folks that they don't like the automated system, but I think overall we're addressing the needs, and you can get the departments much more easily. So it seems to be working out for the most part, although I will be honest with you, some people aren't happy with the automated system, and it's the way, I mean, the technology is taking us there. With regards to the reassessment, I have the assessor's report for the month of October. October is the date that they do the values, so basically they're almost on the commercial side, finalizing their values, and on the residential side, they also are reviewing sales data and doing their final values. They expect that to be completed by November, and we'll have a further report next month regarding that. And that is basically all I have for the third session. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Chris.
Best practices?
Yes. Come back to that. Yield to Mark, and we'll come back to that. Or to Jack, sorry.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have two items that need to be discussed in closed session.
Okay. Engineer report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As Councilman White said, we've had a very busy month this past month. There's two items that I'd like to add to tonight's agenda, and I'll talk about those as I go through my report. The first one is last month we discussed the state aid application for fiscal year 2013. We had a consensus of council that we would apply for Reed Avenue Phase 2. We need a resolution on tonight's agenda to officially make that formal so that we can go ahead and do the SAGE application. So I'd like to add a resolution to tonight's agenda for that. Under, under the handicap ramp program, things are going smooth. As Councilman White said, we do have a payment number 1 that we put a recommendation in for Reed Avenue Phase 1. Again, Councilman White alluded to some delays. We hit some hidden manholes out there that we did not anticipate. That slowed down the pavement, but hopefully that's all going to be taken care of tomorrow. And that we'll be able to do the striping shortly after that. East 3rd and East 2nd Avenue, pretty much done. We have some punch lists out there that the contractor has to address, and we still have to review final quantities for a final payment and do the closeout documentation. And I have to have a meeting with Beth Pugh from CDBG to go over all the CDBG project requirements. The West 3rd Avenue project, again, the project is substantially complete. We still have to finalize all the quantities and do punch list work. We do have an application for payment in our packet. And as the councilman said, we were able to save some money on the West 3rd Avenue project, so we did some extra work on Elm Avenue and 2nd Avenue with the sidewalks, and everything looks great. So it was good that we could get that work done. Under the Beaver Branch Park improvements, the soccer fields and irrigation well, we had the pre-construction meeting on September 17th. The notice to proceed was issued for September 18th, and the contractor is currently doing his submittal to us, which is like how he's going to do his irrigation system and stuff like that. Under the bathroom facility and pump station, this is where I'd like to have another resolution on the agenda. I'll have to defer to Jack just to make sure we can do it. But what I'd like to do is make the award to Panarelli Construction for the base bid of $217,700, but it's going to be contingent on the CFO certifying availability of funds. We will not issue any contracts until we get word from Rich that the funds are in place from tonight's action with the bond reading. It takes 20 days from Joyce putting it in the paper for you to get the funds. But I'd like to get the resolution for the award, because I have the contractor agreeing to hold his prices until October 31st. We took bids back in July, and we have to he held his prices for 60 days. We got an extension, so we're hopefully make that award, and then when the funds are available, we can go out to contract. The 2011 road program, all the punch list work's done. I talked to the contractor, and we're just trying to coordinate all the closeout documentation so we can release his retainage. Municipal building roof, change order number 2 is on your agenda tonight, resolution 12-123. Rich Wright talked about that a little bit, but it had to do with the additional scupper work up on the roof here. Harry Williams building roof, we have, they completed all the change order work, which again that dealt with some scupper issues, so we have a final payment number 3 in our packet. The jail cell floor, Rich talked about resolution number 12-122, which was a change order for some base cove that was not included in our contract, and it was a requirement that we have that put in, and we also know the final payment recommendation in our packet. And municipal building side egress door, I talked to Steve Bach today. He's going to have the architectural plans done, and we're going to get 3 quotes this month, so we can hopefully award it at the November meeting. And if it's not done, you can yell at Steve. Tax map updates, we scheduled a meeting, or Steve's going to be at the, I have a typo in my report, at the October 17th planning board meeting to go over the zoning map and the sample ordinance with the planning board. And Black Horse Pike Phase 2, we're doing the closeout paperwork with Bud Concrete, and we'll be able to get final reimbursement from the NJDOT on that project. And the Public Works Garage, I've been working with Joyce, and we had the mayor sign a designating ERI as the licensed site remediation professional, and we'll forward that to NJDEP. So Joyce took care of that. I have it to go tomorrow. And that concludes my short report. Unless anybody has other questions.
Did you say
The
17th?
planning board, they changed it from the 12th to the 17th, didn't you say?
It's the 10th.
Yeah, it's a second one.
Okay.
I thought I heard that.
All right, I looked on the wrong.
Yeah, okay. Because I never had a conflict with it.
That's good.
I'm sorry.
Give us the 2 numbers for these 2 vendors.
Yeah, I did already. 1229 would be the DOT application for redevelopment phase 2, and 12130 will be to award Panarelli Construction. Is that their name?
Yes.
At a base bid of $217,700 for the bathroom and pump station, bathroom facilities and pump station, contingent on the CFO approving the pumps.
Correct. Thank you. Jack, that's okay to do it that way?
As long as you do it with contingency, and you're doing it, just awarding it without actually signing contracts for changing money.
Okay. Okay, great, thank you.
Everything's right here. I guess we can talk about this on the phone, but Mr. Sordo is in the audience, and although Halloween is coming and it's new, I think it's always going to have parties. If I'm going to just elaborate on it a little bit.
Thank you, Mr. Yeah, just briefly, Halloween comes on a Wednesday night, and we're planning once again to have a 6 to 8 Halloween party at the Williams Building. As we normally have done for the last few years, there'll be a contest. I'll try and get some out-of-town judges to come in, and we try and break it down. And the mayor's always been real good to issue the cards out, and it gets bigger and bigger every year. We'll have some light refreshments. The idea kind of is to get the kids back off the streets between 6 and 8 and get them home. So we need help this year again, though, because unfortunately we lost one of our real stallions in there, and so we need some help. If somebody wants to volunteer to be a judge, we need 3 judges. We can use them, and we need some just regular help behind the counter to pass out the cookies and the popcorn and things like that. So either see Tony or myself, or Matt, I'm sure you'll be involved in things. So somebody just to let us know, because as many help as we can get. Around 5 o'clock, let's try to have a face plan. We can register the people. You're welcome. Oh. And you're welcome to come in costume. We do have an adult section for that, and it's kind of a fun deal. So we try to have a few prizes, and
they'll be on the same as we've had in the past few years. So there'll be some music there. So anybody has any questions, get in touch with me. Paul, I guess you'll provide some kind of security for us. But I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you. I'm sorry, sir? Yes, this was a separate issue, but it wasn't in my report, my apologies. Thanks for the statement. I think the best way to do this is for me to quickly just go over all the yeses, because it's pretty easy that way. I want to specifically mention the perspectives, because what they do is you're allowed to say perspective for an issue this year, and then next year it turns into a yes, no, and if you do not follow through, then you are at risk for state aid. I will say that we have zero penalty. Based on our procedures, we have best practice penalties coming down. On page 1, they're asking about shared services, and we won't go into each individual one. We have shared services, and we are continuing to strive to enter into them going forward. Item number 2 asks if we have filed all of our shared services with the state of New Jersey, and I put perspective for that answer there. I don't believe all of ours are there. We'll coordinate that and make sure it's done. An easy yes, we will do it for next year. Item number 3, we have a vehicle policy on how our vehicles are used, and also I review annually for IRS compliance, so that's okay. Item number 4, our legal counsel and myself review our bid specs before contracts are executed. Item number 5 is a no, and it's related to the pay-to-play ordinance, so we may want to revisit that going forward. Item number 6, we have our website up to date with the minimums as required. We're also, this week, we're trying to expand it and make it a better product out there. Number 7, our elected officials do attend classes. We use the League of Municipalities, and we also send them to the elected officials classes, so we do that. We have our ordinances codified, and we make changes as we go along, and they're also available online. That was number 8. Number 9, our collective bargaining agreements basically averaged an increase of 2% or less for the contractual year. We're okay with that. Number 10, we have written internal control procedures. Number 11, we have a document that shows those controls. We reconcile our general ledgers. Number 12, and we reconcile our bank statements. Number 13, we've just gone out and redid our phones, so we were okay there. They also want to know if we're looking into our utilities and things of that nature, and electric and street lighting, and we have reviewed that. Last year, we reviewed all of our street lights that we had out there, and we were tying in our bills, so that's something that we do at least every 3 years. We have a subcommittee that meets with the CFO and the auditors for our audit committee. On number 15 is perspective, because there are items that were in the 2010 audit that weren't corrected 100% in 2011, so that was a perspective. And we knew that going in, some of those changes took place in this year. Number 16, basically it's referring to the preparation of the annual financial statement, annual debt statement, and basically DCA is pushing towards having the auditors not do any of that work. I listed that as a perspective, but as part of our contract with the auditors, they prepared a document because they have based off of our information, but they do prepare the document. So before next year, we will have clarification from the state specifically where they are on that. Same thing goes with the budget. You know, we go through our process, but then they coordinate the document itself, and that's the tradition that we've done here because they're perfect for that. Number 18, grants management. They want to know if we have reviewed all of our grants and basically contacted all of our grantor agencies and things of that nature. As I reported in prior months, we just cleaned up our EIT loans, which falls in that category. We have them all reimbursed and carried out. I put that as a perspective because I will create a report just so that you have a quarterly to know what's going on. With regards to budget preparation and best practice, we complied with the minimum budget message sections in the budget document. Number 20 is a perspective. We went over the 5-year analysis of surplus and the things that are required, but now they're asking us, because this changes each year, if we have written policies for how we utilize our surplus. So we will develop a written policy and we can adopt that as council so that we have a written policy to enforce what we do. Basically, we included 2 future years in our budget document when we did our budget, so we wrote down that. Number 22 is an NA. It was regarding if we guarantee other agencies in Fort County that they were guaranteed the debt. This is related to the debt of municipalities, so we don't do that. On number 23, another item that I will take responsibility for next year. It did not penalize us, but they want a written report to council, at least quarterly, on revenues, expenditures. We give verbal reports, but I will change that into a written report going forward. On number 24, and a lot of people are probably going to be tough on this one. They want to know if you have done a reassessment or reevaluation. We were able to say yes. As I reported tonight, we're completing that now. We do a capital plan, so we're okay there. They wanted to, this is number 26 is perspective. They want to know if we're setting money aside in our snow removal trust fund each year. I think that this is, given the fiscal constraints that all the municipalities in the state are in, I think this is really reaching for them to ask you how much money that you put in, or are you putting money into your snow trust fund. We budget for our snow each year, and we've met the obligations of our snow each year. Going forward, we will try and find some money left over at the end of the year to put into the snow trust so we can answer yes on this question. Number 27 goes into health insurance, and basically they're asking if we exclude part-time elected and appointed officials from health care at less than 35 a week. We're okay on that one. On number 28, they're asking if we limit health benefits to full-time employees of 35 hours or more weekly. And all our collective bargaining agreements do not allow for that. They predate the best practice checklist, so I don't know if that would be a fair penalty if that was to cause us that penalty. It doesn't this year because you don't have to get 100 on your score, but they're really getting into issues that are, I think, local issues versus state issues. Number 29, they want to know if we conduct a monthly review of our health benefits reports to make sure that we don't have any dead people, for lack of a better phrase, that we're paying for. I know that's been reported in some larger communities. We review our bill monthly, and we're only paying for folks that are here and getting coverage. Number 30, we have implemented Chapter 78 in accordance with the rules. Number 31 is some of these questions at the end of this section are a little difficult because of the way that we are set up. We are in the South Jersey Regional Health Benefits Fund. These questions are geared to basically drive you, in my opinion, to the State Health Benefits Fund, where they think, based on the comptroller's report, that that is the best option out there. If you're not doing it, then you're not saving money. So that's why it's on this report. They want to know if we have gone out and basically done RFPs for insurance and things of that nature. I'm sure that Mr. Beecher's can answer that at the JIF level, or at the HIP level, I'm sorry, they are doing that. How it relates to the individual accounts within that, we did not go to the state health benefits plan as number 32 and basically have them solicit on our plan. So basically, two of these are perspective. One of them was a yes. Our premiums are lower there with regards to the state health benefits plan. We had that done as part of the police negotiations. We had the fund give us the numbers and we compared them. So we were about, do you remember number 20? I don't know if it was $120,000 less, something along those lines. So So it was a significant amount that it would cost us to go into that point in time. Moving on to the next page. We do not have any of our attorneys in the pension plan. Basically, number 35 is related to the Fair Labor Standards Act, and do we refrain from paying overtime to employees who are classified as exempt? We do not pay overtime to anyone who is not legally or contractually entitled to it. I know that during some of the snowstorms, the administrators and mayors and things of that nature in North Jersey were putting themselves in for overtime, and it caused quite a stink. It's listed as a perspective because it also asks with regards to off-duty employment, jobs in blue, and I do believe we need to discuss with the police department how that's set up going forward. So that could not be yes, it's a perspective this year. As far as, I don't believe all of our contracts at this point in time are filed with PERC. As soon as they're all completed and signed, we're still waiting for some signatures and things of that nature, we will get them there. But technically, the answer is no to that, so that should be easy for a yes for next year. Basically, they want to know if we make available to the public free of charge, either through the internet or through a review of documents, personnel costs over a 3-year period. That's something that we're set up to do, so if anyone wants to request that, we can. All of our time is kept either paper or electronic. They're trying to make sure that we're not just getting paid every day without account of time. There's some places that do that, but not us. We have an automated system and a paper system, so we're covered there. Does your Personnel and Human Resources Office maintain records that account for all leave time earned and used by employees? That's a yes. Do supervisors review and approve and deny time and attendance documentation? That's a yes. And do we limit the carry forward time? And that's a yes. So basically, again, most of these odd questions are all related to issues that you see in the news and through the comptroller's office in municipalities. They can't make you do it, so basically what's going to happen is if you don't comply, they're going to start hitting your state aid through the best practice worksheet. On number 42, does the municipal governing body approve all payments for accumulated absence payouts in accordance with 53015? That is something that we do. We also had a grievance issue on that, but they reinforced that issue. We do the employment practice liability training for elected officials and managers, number 43. We have light duty program. Number 45 and 46 are no's, and these are new ones to the checklist, but I don't know how we address them. They're contractual. Basically, they're saying, do we limit both workers' comp payouts and state disability payouts to employees on leave to 75 to 70%, and basically through our major illness programs, we're paying 100%. So based on our current contracts, these two are going to be no's going forward. So it's just something for you to be aware of. Number 47, has your municipality adopted an ordinance, resolution, or regulation or policy eliminating longevity awards, bonuses, or payments for non-union employees? I do believe the answer is yes for that one. I can only guess where that's going to go in the future, but right now they're only asking the question in regards to management. And then for employees covered by collective bargaining agreements, has your municipality eliminated longevity awards, bonuses, or payments for employees hired on or after a specific date, and refraining from increasing longevity awards, bonuses, and payments for employees hired for a specific date? And I do believe all the units except for one have complied with that. I answered that as a yes because we have done that. But that last unit is not resolved yet. And number 49, does the municipality schedule and undertake inspections and assessments of your facilities to ensure they're in good repair and the maintenance is being performed? The JIF comes in every year and they do both an environmental and a risk assessment report, and that is, as I stated earlier, how we end up prioritizing the jail cell floor. So that's a yes. And number 50, the last one, has your municipality reviewed its policies and staffing requirements for providing traffic safety around utility and construction work? It's basically, again, related to the police outside employment. They want to make sure that we're not assigning officers to guard the front of a cul-de-sac. And I think we have a very good setup between our police department and the vendors. And they basically do risk assessment and make sure the proper manning is on site. So with that said, we got an 88% and the amount fell to 0. And sorry for going through them all, but this was a requirement of the best practice. So the review of the council in a public meeting.
Thank you.
No problem.
You have to do this.
New business? We have a proclamation, which puts the brakes on for Gallagher staff, November 10th. Can everyone just read that on their own? Okay. All right, now I'm gonna go through the resolutions. Okay, first one will be resolution 12-118, is a resolution authorizing property maintenance claims on various properties. These are the things that John gives me for the lawn cutting, whatever it is that he needs to do. The next will be the resolution confirming 2012 appointments, which are the crossing guards and the 2 special police officers that you will have copies of. The next is resolution 12-120. This is a resolution authorizing the borough to enter into an interlocal service agreement with Camden for snow removal. We do this every year. We plow their county roads. They give us salt. 12-121 is awarding the bid for solid waste disposal services and executing the contract. This is the bid that we went out with a bunch of towns together with the county, and we got the lower rates on the disposal fees at the incinerator. And everybody has a copy of that along with the schedule of the fees in their packet. Resolution 12-122 is approving a change order for Grenieri Construction. Which one is Grenieri, Mark? Joe Self-Lewis. That's the last changes. The other one is EDA Contractors, and that's for one of the municipal building roof. That's another change order. It's 12-123. 12-125, I'm excluding 12-24 because 12-124, that's the closed session, is the granting. On Friday afternoon, after I sent the agendas out, I finally got the approval for the special ruling for the old fiddleheads license, LC as it is. Now this is one for approval to renew it, and then they'll be coming in front of us eventually for the transfer, a person to person and a place to place. But this is just the approval. Then I have resolution 126, 127, and 128, which are the chapter 159s, which insert items of revenue into the budget. Rich read them during his report and explained what they were. And resolution 12-129 will be the authorization to send in an application to the DOT for Reed Avenue Phase 2. And resolution 12-130 will be a resolution awarding the bid to Panorama Construction for the bathroom building and bathroom facilities and pump station at Green Acres Park with a bid of $217,700 contingent on CFO approval. You weren't here when we talked about this?
No, he wasn't.
See, now what happened?
I was okay with it, doing it the way he had phrased it, because we're not going to actually sign the contract, we're just awarding the bid. And we'll actually wait to sign the contracts and pay the cash after it gets passed.
And there's another one we need to add. This is for the 12-131. We need to do the Halloween curfew resolution before October 31st. And Mark Diana has been out. And I just would, if you can approve it by title, and it'll mirror whatever we did last year. We do it the week before. I can't remember now. Is it 9? Instead of 10, it's 9.
o'clock, I think it was.
Whatever it is, here, I'll talk to Mark and we'll hear whatever
Okay.
it is, if that's okay with everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, the change is always 1 hour.
I think it's always 1 hour, yeah, for weekends and to the weekends.
Correct.
And that would be it, and you need a motion to adopt the law.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt resolutions 12-118 through 12-23, 125 through 131.
Should I do it all for 1 and 2, please?
Yeah, you're gonna need a roll call and get set.
Second.
Now I'd like to roll call.
Mrs. Passier?
Yes.
Mr. Powers?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
And Mr. Beatrice?
Yes.
4 ayes, 2 absent.
And the resolutions are now adopted. Payment of bills?
I'd like to move for payment of bills along with monthly contractual bills rates and due.
Now the motion. Roll call?
Mrs. Passier? Yes. Mr. Powers?
Yes.
Mr. Williams? Excuse me, Mr. White?
Yes.
And Mr. Beatrice?
Yes.
4 ayes, 2 absent.
Should do a good one first. and then do the close.
This part, this is good and welfare. Anyone's ready to speak, come up to the microphone. We're going to close that. Come up to the microphone, give your name and address, please.
Val Palisano, 831 North Oakland Avenue. I know we have a problem with the Little League, the squirrel problem, and Maria had been here and asked about it, and I don't think anything's really been done with boarding up or...
With the squirrels?
Yes.
You're talking about the building across from the library, the Harry Williams building, the older building that we were looking at. Do you have any report on
No.
that? Nothing that the engineering department can say is being done.
No, there's nothing that we report on as of now. We're working on a few options on the school building. Yeah.
Okay, I was just wondering if maybe before winter set in, we could...
Yeah, that's where we're working.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome.
I am Bobby White, I live in Singley Avenue. I spoke last month on our little abandoned houses and the rat problem. I gave Mr. Beatrice my phone number to have Keith from the code. He never did. I contacted him on my own.
I took the number, and I was late getting back to Keith with the number, but he advised me that he's already been in contact
Yeah.
with you.
And my apologies to Mr. Beatrice.
That's okay. We work together.
The house across the street from me, it's a blue and white, 2-story boarded windows. And what I was told by a neighbor, there's still food in that refrigerator. The Board of Health was out yesterday. She don't know what they're gonna do.
We can't go in our own.
Yeah. From what I understand, the bank owns it. I
The
mean,
back, when I spoke to Keith today, he got back to me, he told me County was out there.
Yeah.
And we board the property and close it up and secure it, that's all we can do. We don't have the ability to go in, clean it out, throw out
There's
contents.
food in the refrigerator.
Well, the bank's been unresponsive to Keith's letters, and he's very persistent in his letters. And there's actually a arrest warrant out for somebody involved with the bank.
Yeah.
They contacted.
Because my landlord's a realtor down in Wildwood, and he tried to call the number that's on the paper and was disconnected.
Yeah. So there's actually a arrest warrant.
And
out
Keith
for
was
some-
very helpful.
Yeah, Keith's been working on it.
Yeah.
This has been a problem. I know that last year, I dealt with the problem last year. I remember going over at the place yours.
Yeah,
Just paying.
yeah, I remember
You guys
being-
had a rat problem in your house.
Yeah.
You guys got a disturbing and had to take care of it.
Yeah, but it's coming from, it's like they're getting a food source, you know? Yeah, it's disgusting.
There's something, when we board the property, we maintain the outside of the property. We can't just go in.
You can't
Throw
get
the
around.
out so they
Okay, that's what I have. Thank you.
Hi, Amy Barry, 16 North Reed. I'm here as a concerned taxpayer, and I'd like to know, how did you choose the homes that would get new sidewalks replaced when we were doing the construction?
When we did, are you talking about all the road programs?
No, I'm talking about private sidewalks.
Well, when we're doing the street, obviously we have to redo the apron because we're doing the roads.
Mhm.
And then now if we damage the block in the back of the apron, we have to repair it.
Right, at the top of the apron where you cross into the
And
driveway.
then we take trees down, we have, I'm sure you're referring to the middle of 3 Avenue where we did a whole big section.
Well, the first block of Reed between Third and, whatever. the
First Avenue.
First Ave, there's 26 blocks that have been replaced
Yes.
in one block.
And a lot of the cases, homeowners will pay for it.
A lot?
I can show you our demo plan from our engineer drew up.
Okay.
And when we took trees down,
Mhm.
and we had real bad tripping hazards, safety problems, so we took care of that. But we didn't just go out and say, you get sidewalk, you don't. There was a method to the madness doing it. It's
And
not
who-
like-
and who
but
chose
there-
those?
It was designed when our engineer designed the road program.
The engineer just chose which one to go. Okay.
But a lot of the sidewalks on that road have been paid for by the owner. Because I've been out there, I'm out there at least every day.
So, they didn't, I understand what you're saying. There are quite a few, for instance, on Smith, at the corner of Smith, the gentleman who got it down the back where Wawa is. And I know that there was not an existing sidewalk there. I know you put it there. On the front half of that, they went up and did other pieces on the way to the Mexican
The
restaurant.
homeowner paid for that.
Okay.
We did not pay for that.
So we put in the sidewalks in the places where there weren't any sidewalks. And is it possible to find in the budget in Phase 2 Reed to put in the new curb at Bingham?
Well, as a owner of a property, you're responsible to maintain your curb and sidewalk. We're doing the aprons because we're redoing a road. We don't want,
Right.
we can't put a water problem in somebody's driveway.
Absolutely.
So that's why we do it.
Right.
But that was in our program to do in front of Bingham School. And we're not paving Orchard Avenue in that area.
Well, you did pave, you paved up the street, paved
Well,
at the
we-
corner of Third and Orchard.
We put curb and sidewalk in where there wasn't existing curb and sidewalk. So
Right,
what
but
we're doing,
the
we're
trucks
trying-
were there.
Yeah, but it's not, it wasn't, you as a school, you guys have a budget to maintain your property.
Absolutely.
And we have a budget to maintain our roads.
The school does have a budget. My concern was is that 26, okay, some of them you're saying did. So I guess my question would be, how many change orders were added on, or how much in the original contract constituted was allotted for private blocks on Reed?
We only did areas where we disturbed, like where we took down trees in the middle of the block.
Right.
That whole area was destroyed, so we had to replace that.
Right.
And now
So,
the one next door to it, the resident of that house added on and paid the contractor themselves.
I know the house you're speaking of, but he's not the only one with 26 blocks in a one-block radius. There are other various blocks.
There's down Reed Avenue, that homeowner had, we put the curb cut in. The guy came in front of the planning board,
Right.
and I was here at the planning board meeting.
Right.
And I seen that it was done, so we put the curb cut in, because I didn't want the guy destroying the street after we did the street.
Absolutely.
So we did that, but he paid for the apron and the sidewalk.
Okay,
Did not pay.
so the other house at First and Reed, on the opposite corner from the person that paved with the neighbor that the tree came down, catty corner, in the middle of their lot, there is one nice slice of concrete that was put in where there wasn't a tree taken out. So I guess my question is,
Well,
how
I could
many,
go out there and walk the job with you and show you what we paid for and what we did.
I just want to know how many blocks did we pay for on private
Right off the
residences?
top of my head, I do not know.
Okay, so there is not any budgeted for the school curb or the aprons at the
No.
property?
And what, I became aware of the problem, somebody approached me that they had a problem at the school. So I said, well, you know, something, we got the contractor in town, and we can hold the contractor to our prices. So I was doing it, I went to the school and said, you guys have to go out and bid it, pre-quote it, you'll get a higher number, because now you're having a contractor came in. So I went out, I said, you know something? I said, I spoke to Rich, I said, can we do this, have our contractor do the work, and the school reimburses, the school using our numbers that we can
Got
get
it.
the contract.
So what do we pay, what does the town pay for a block of concrete in our contract?
It goes by the square yard, it's not by the block.
Okay,
Those are unit prices. There's unit prices for curb, unit price for, and I'm sure you received the paper at the school board meeting, what, I gave it to Joanne Augustine, we gave her, there was no markup or nothing, we gave her unit prices that we're paying.
well, I'm here as a concerned taxpayer when I
Oh,
drive down the street
well, I know you're
and I
gonna-
see blocks being replaced, and it's not about who's getting it, it's about that there's money that is ours.
But what we do.
And if my concrete needed to be replaced, I would have to replace it.
Yeah, but.
That's all.
But what I'm saying, we're on that street doing the project.
So
We
phase
budgeted
two, does it come on the other side of Smith and I get a free one too?
Excuse me?
So when phase two on Reed comes down my way, do I get a
If
free
there's
one
problem
too?
there, yes, we'll replace.
I don't have
the
a tree, that's not what I was looking for.
Well, no, if you got broke, I mean, it's not, we're just getting, you know something, you're a nice guy, we're gonna give you something. It's not like that. Our engineer walks the job, is probably pay our engineer, and he designs the road.
Well, I feel honestly that there's enough areas in our town where there are no sidewalks,
And that's what we're
that
working
we
on.
should allocate our money to go to make those, to put those in, because I know we cannot make people put them in, we have to do it, and I agree with that, but I think that you should allocate that money to go towards those places, because a lot of those are along Davis Road, and that's a very busy street, and there's other very busy areas that money could probably be
And
more
that's
well
what we've done,
spent.
we did the sidewalk and curb at the ball field, which was no sidewalk and curb there now, now it's solid. We did it on Orchard Avenue.
Right.
And we did it over here on Second Avenue and Pleasant Ridge Road. There was never a sidewalk there when I was a kid, and I lived here for 46 years.
Right. Well, the things that were done on Reed or in the future Reed project are probably enough to do at least a block on Davis. So, that's all. Thank you.
Thanks.
Mayor, 120 North Reed Avenue. In regards to the sidewalks, I lived there for 10 years. My kids fell many a times on them sidewalks that you fixed and had lots of cuts. And Nick, if you weren't so worried about other things besides your own stuff, take care of your own stuff and leave the other stuff alone. I haven't been here in a couple of months, and I can see you guys are still playing the same games. It's a lot of fun. And you look there like you're stupid, Nick. I know what you're about, and you know what you're about. All I have to say, thank you, Ed, for doing our street. I'm glad that you're doing it. I wish you would have done a little bit more, but you also did that part where the woods, now I don't have to worry about my kids getting jumped or anything like that. It's opening. Okay, and I pay taxes in here too. She doesn't even live on Reed, where she's talking about I live on. And she's talking about my neighbors. She should mind her own business and worry about her house and not our house. Thank you.
You know, I would like to address the comment, please. If someone was falling down on your sidewalks, Ms. Mayor, that would mean your liability. So, you know, the borough can cite people for having bad sidewalks. Is that correct, Mr. White? Is that correct? You can cite people, and the borough does decide on road projects what sidewalks to do. Mr. White, with the engineer, went down each road and decided. It didn't have anything to do with me.
Yeah, Nick, we'll do your street too.
Okay.
Hi, Samantha Spalding, 514 Blanchard Avenue, Runnemede. I just wanted to say that we were here in regards to something that I think you knew about, Mr. White. We weren't attacking you in any kind of way. We were just trying to work together like we always do. Had nothing to do with anybody. Thank you.
Any?
Gene Smith, 876 Orchard. I noticed you guys hired a couple of Special 2 police officers. When are you going to actually go out and hire permanent police officers?
They're interviewing them, boy. And then they've been
Okay, you're interviewing them and you're sticking to the civil service procedures for interviewing, and
Am I right, Paul?
when did you start interviewing?
We are starting the process on the civil service guidelines.
You're starting the process, or you're interviewing?
Well, part of the process is going through, we did not actually, we already contacted all the civil service candidates. They received a postcard in the mail, they had to sign and send
Captain,
back.
I think it's suffice to say that we are in the process of trying to make a final determination
Yes.
as to what they're going to do as far as permanent employees. We really shouldn't get into a discussion with the actual process. However, we are following the law, we are following the civil service guidelines.
The civil service, there's nothing hidden.
Right. That's what we're doing.
Oh,
Right.
do that. Okay, in regards to the police department, I know there's a lot of talk about municipalities going to county policing agencies. Are we going to have a resolution of some type? I mean, how do you folks, if that issue ever comes to this end, how are you going to handle that? Are you going to put it on a ballot where the people of town are able to vote on that? Or are you going to just come in front of mayor and council, pass a resolution, do away with the police department, and take over the county? I'm sure you've given it some thought. I'm sure you have.
Fortunately, that hasn't come to council, and you can rest assured that if that type of proposal is brought to mayor and council, that there would be a lot of public discussion that goes into that.
Well, I know that some towns have said, I think it's Woodland, one of them, that you cannot put it on a ballot. Is that correct, or is it the structure of the town that, how the
It typically would be an interlocal services agreement that you have to enter into, and it would have to be done in public, when there would have to be public discussion.
It could not be a ballot question.
Typically not.
Okay. Tony, I know you wanted to say something.
Yeah, well, I've said it publicly, my feeling, I don't think it'd be right to poll council to see how you feel. My feeling is that if the residents want me to partake in it, I'll do that. Other than that, I have to be convinced.
Okay, thank you.
Seniors, no one else there?
There seems to be no one else wishing to speak. I make a motion to close the roll.
Not a second? All in favor?
Resolution 124.
We're going to be going into closed session, so
Mayor, excuse me, I'd like to make a motion to close and to discuss personnel matters.
right. My second. All those in favor? Huh? Yeah, that's what I was doing.
What's that? Yeah, just for clarification, we do have some other items to discuss in closed session, so we are going to have to go back there. We're going to be about 30 to 60 minutes. Then there's one item that has to deal with some employees that are here. So if anybody wants to stay, they're welcome to stay, but we don't intend to take any action. They moved to adjourn the closed session.
So why?
Because that was,
Yeah, but what was the reason? What was the reason? You called us here to have a meeting, and we asked about a document, and you closed the meeting. I don't
we didn't call you
understand.
here to have a meeting.
You did?
No, we did not. As I explained to you, the letter said that we were going to have a closed session to discuss negotiations, to discuss something that could potentially impact employees.
Okay, so why didn't we discuss that
And
matter?
they adjourned it. They're not going to have the meeting.
So there was no reason for the letter in the first place?
No, because we're not going to have a negotiation session, and we're not going to debate every step we do, so it's easier.
I'm not, it's not a debate, I'm just asking for the document that you were talking about. I don't think that was a big deal. And I agree with Jack that I actually had the article in there, so it made sense to me. I don't understand why we stopped. Once he said that, what it was, I knew what it was, and I have a copy of it, so I didn't understand why we stopped. That's what he advised, and then Rich said to adjourn, and that doesn't make sense to me. I thought only council could make that decision. We're not following the rules?
Make the decision. I recommend this council.
I don't know, are we gonna not follow the rules? Because, you know, as a councilman, I know the
Can you stop
administrator
for
can't
one
make
second,
that.
please? The
Okay.
rules have been followed.
Well, Rich violated the rules,
They're
correct?
not violated. There was a motion and there was a second.
Which was
and it
directed
closed.
by Rich, correct?
I recommend it.
It was a recommendation and it was followed and it's over. So there's no more closed session.
Okay. So we're not gonna discuss anything?
No.
Okay. So there's nothing else to discuss with this unit?
This
Correct.
was, the purpose of that meeting and that notice was not to have discussions with the unit. It was to advise you that you were allowed to partake and listen to what was going on.
Well, we're here to
But
partake.
we're beyond that,
You should
we're
stop.
beyond that, and we have a
It is,
motion
it's
on
over.
the table
So
now.
now you heard everything
Motion
that
for
was done.
resolution 12-132. There's a motion.
What happened with resolution 124? Mayor, what happened with resolution 124?
First of all, we haven't acknowledged you. We're out of closed session. We have.
I'm going to acknowledge it because we're talking about it, right?
Okay, well, why don't you stop talking for 1 second, let us finish our motion, and then we can have you come in public session.
Okay. We'll do this in public, that's fine.
So go ahead, you have the
Tony
motion.
made a motion to, with the settlement, separation agreement,
Yeah, I did make it.
and White seconded, and now you need a roll call. Mr. Sanchez?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mrs. Passios?
Yes.
3 ayes. 3 ayes.
And you wanna open it back to the public?
As long as we're clear, we're not going to discuss personnel issues, so if you want to talk about why we,
I'm gonna open this up to the public.
that's fine. Yes.
Sean Wildwood, CWA. Was advised to come back when we were back in open session. You were to discuss the conversation of what the letter was. Can we proceed with that now?
Tell me what your question is.
The only question was, you were here to discuss under resolution 1224, matters that discuss the members of this unit. I was here to listen to that. I had a question about what the paper was. You advised that it was Article 11, which I have a copy of in my bag, and
Well, I can't talk about that because that was in closed session.
Okay.
What I can tell you is we went into closed session. There was a very brief discussion of certain employees. That discussion was terminated. Closed session was closed, and that's all we can talk about.
Okay, but I didn't hear any discussion talk about any employees in the closed session.
Well, now it's closed. And
Well, it's open, right? But I didn't hear any
Closed session
discussion.
has been closed.
Right, the closed session is closed, but in the closed session, I did not hear of anything being discussed about employees.
Correct.
It was opened and closed, and that was it.
That's right.
And that's not what the notice stated. So you are stating that it opened, it closed, you just discussed about employees, which didn't happen.
Right, you're right, but there was not.
Okay,
No
so
discussion.
you have to clear the record to say there was nothing about employees, because you just stated that it
No.
was.
No, I do not.
Okay. So what are we doing then?
We're done, so we're gonna do a motion to adjourn unless you have any other comments.
Well, I want to know what's going on with the union, because that's what I was called here for.
The union,
Okay. So we're just back in negotiations?
absolutely.
Okay. And is everyone in mayor and council aware what the standing is and where we are with the issues?
Not at this time.
Okay. The only item left that is on for the negotiations is the vacation time. There's an issue that is obviously with this particular unit, since you have people that work there for over 30 years, there's a vacation schedule. CWA had proposed, we understanding that we're trying to get it in compliance with civil service. However, our contract is in compliance with civil service and meets all of the, best practice standards and that. What the union was willing to do in order to resolve this matter and move forward is that all employees hired and moving forward would go under with the state services at the minimum. And that the employees that are here would be able to keep their time. You have some people losing close to 2 weeks, some people losing a week, some people losing 5 days. Obviously, you guys all know what Chapter 78 has done to this unit. Healthcare is going up. Salaries are being held at a minimum. And the only thing they truthfully had less is some of their benefits that they have for being here for a long time. And I don't understand how the Democratic Council would want to take this away from working people. They're hardworking people just like you guys. They're not asking for anything more. They've been understanding about all the needs of council. They've understanding of all the issues. No other unit was asked to do this. The last unit that had just agreed to it in the negotiations were able to get money and other items for that. Also, we're asking to be treated fairly. These are older women that have been here and have dedicated most of their lives to this town. And for new council to come in and just try to take this away from us, we believe is unfair. We believe that there's a fair resolution on the table, and we would like for council to consider that. Thank you.